This is an absolute heist for the Denver Nuggets, as an insider has dropped a very big report surrounding the Denver Nuggets, connecting them to a piece that would help this team so much as the new regime looks to put their stamp on this organization, already doing an excellent job about it, and now they have a way to optimize one of their young players as well, and we're going to talk about that on top of this huge update. So a lot to go into, guys. You want to make sure to stay till the end, but let's jump into this. There's a lot of talk to go over, but first things first, if you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed to Nuggets Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Denver Nuggets updates from myself and Amy. We have a lot of good Nuggets coverage to give to you guys, and you don't want to miss a single Denver Nuggets update, so make sure to stay tuned. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over on this team. As when the new regime took over the Denver Nuggets, there was a lot of talk surrounding what's going to happen? What's going to be different? How are the Nuggets going to be able to optimize their bench unit so they can hang with the Oklahoma City Thunder? As we know, if Aaron Gordon were healthy, things could have looked a lot different last year, which easily could have led to the Nuggets holding the trophy at the end of the year, winning their second title in 3 years. However, as we know, that's not how everything ended. And I was going to say that's fine. It's really not fine in the grand scheme of things. But you could tell that the Nuggets felt a sense of urgency from their star players, made some changes, and now things look very good heading into this season. With all that in mind, there has been a lot of trade talks recently with the whole Denver Nuggets team, and really how they're going to continue to get better, as there are some issues with this team that could easily be fixed. When you look at the depth chart, there is some holes still that the Nuggets can fill, specifically in regards to adding another guard to that team, someone who could really dominate the ball off that backcourt unit. Bruce Brown obviously is a talented playmaker, but do you want him to be your lead guard is the real question here. That's something that's up for debate. Comment down below if you think that he can be, but let's talk about this trade, as in an update, it was revealed that a big trade that the Nuggets would be able to make is acquiring Devin Carter and a 2027 second round pick from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange to the Sacramento Kings receiving Payton Watson. Now, this is a deal that Nuggets fans should absolutely love. As we know, Payton Watson isn't the most exciting person. It's so bad that it's got me fully turned upside down, guys. I mean, there's been a lot of issues with him, and it's got me, again, fully upside down because of that. So just so you guys don't get a headache, we're going to move back here for a second. But when it comes down to it, what we've seen out of Payton Watson has left a little bit to be desired as a player. He hasn't really developed the way that we hoped he would after all these years. And he's not the only Nugget to feel that way, but he has really gained a bit of a role as a good defensive stopper. And Zach Buckley went over this entire trade discussion, mentioning that Watson's case as a trade asset is tricky. His defense is disruptive enough that he is getting regular rotation minutes, and the championship-chasing Nuggets might feel that they need that defense to help realize their full potential. Then again, they also know his offense is underdeveloped, and playoff defenses can and will exploit that. Moreover, they know that both he and Christian Braun need new deals between now and next offseason. They probably don't have the funds to pay both, and if they're forced to choose between them, there wouldn't even be a debate. Braun is the clear keeper of the two. Now, also, in this deal, it does make sense to do that, like when you consider everything. Payton Watson, not the world's worst player by any means. He shot well from the corner three and shot 35% from three overall. Shot 47%, 48% from the field. He's still young. He's still got time. The offense isn't fully there. You don't want him as a guy who's putting the ball on the floor. And there just has left a little bit to be desired from Payton Watson. He really wasn't doing anything in the playoffs last year too exciting, and that was something to really pay attention to, considering especially in that Game 7 when Aaron Gordon's hamstring was just not there. Everything about that, when his entire leg was destroyed, like, he was still the better option over Payton Watson, which really does get to you for sure. And honestly, I do sort of... I don't hate this trade, and definitely you're siding with Christian Braun, who shot 40% from three, has been one of the best defenders in the NBA recently when it comes to perimeter defense, added 5 rebounds, 15.5 points per game last year, and 2.6 assists. Braun has developed into exactly what the Denver Nuggets needed, and he's the guy to get that contract extension, leading Watson to be the odd man out. Now, at the same time, the Nuggets get to pull off an excellent move where they reset contracts and bring in Devin Carter, who, yeah, last year only appeared in a couple games, and the numbers weren't good. He put up 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. He only shot 37% from the field and 29.5% from three. Carter's defense is solid, don't get me wrong, but he also can be a lead ball handler, giving the Nuggets more depth in case of any sort of situation where Jamal Murray were to miss some time or Bruce Brown were to miss some time. There is just not a lot of guards on this team, so adding in Devin Carter, who is still young like Payton Watson, can sort of develop. He's only had 1 year so far, so you really can still find ways to develop him into the player you want him to be. The Nuggets have good development, and with Carter, he fits a need effectively, is what we're trying to say here, that he does fit a need. And that was mentioned by Zach Buckley here, who said, should Denver want to get something now for Watson, then it could call up the Kings and give Carter, last year's 13th overall pick, a shot to fill the backup point guard role. His rookie season was choppy, but Sacramento hasn't exactly been the most fertile developmental environment, So maybe a scenery change and a roster upgrade could get his career going. And that does make sense to me. We know the Nuggets are much better at development than, well, the Sacramento Kings are. It's no debate there. And on top of that, when you go out there and you find a guy like Devin Carter, who really has a chance to be a great player, you'd rather stick with that than the alternative of really not having a backup guard. I mean, again, this team needs one. And when you look at Carter's career, we're going to make that a little bit bigger. When you look at Devin Carter's career in college, he did show that he improved into his final season at Providence, where he led the Big East in scoring, and he shot solid from three as well, shooting 38%, also shot 47% from the field. On top of that, obviously the defense was solid. He averaged nearly 2 steals a game for 2 straight years. So he's a guy who has skill. He's a guy who there's something to work with there. He's not the world's greatest assist guy, but he can dominate the ball, and it would not hurt the Nuggets to get another guy who can be a true ball handler for this team. And honestly, Devin Carter, he does that. He gives you that. And that would be huge for this team going forwards as well, which is just important to look at when you consider everything about this team. We then look at a guy like DaRon Holmes, who this opens up space for, because you look at this roster. If you see Payton Watson get traded here, DaRon Holmes can play that power forward spot, especially next to guys like Jokić or Valanciunas. Holmes is not afraid to shoot the three, even though he's not the most efficient at it, and Valanciunas less so than Jokić, obviously, but Valanciunas and Jokić both space the floor. So you get a world where you could use DaRon Holmes a lot more at that 4 spot, adding some more size to this team that, especially after trading Payton Watson, you really could use that. And I mean, your other option is Zeke Naji, but it's no secret that Zeke Naji has struggled in his years with Denver. Last year, he only put up 3 points per game and 1.6 rebounds. He only shot 33% from 3, which is a huge thing to realize here because he came in as a guy who was supposed to be a stretch big. He hasn't developed yet. It's been a couple of years now as well, so there is some fear there that you just would stick, and in that case, you would just stick DaRon Holmes in that spot. I mean, if you look at DaRon Holmes' career in Dayton, like Carter, we saw him develop and get better and better to where he led the A-10 in scoring in the 2023-24 season, putting up 20 points per game and also leading them in rebounding with 8.5. He's a good shot blocker, averaged a career average of 2.1 blocks per game in his time at Dayton, started every single game of his college career, shot well from the field throughout his entire career there. His worst mark was that final season, and more than anything, it's not something I'd be concerned about because what changed was he shot more threes than anything else. So we started to space the floor a little bit more because he understood that at the NBA level, you have to do that. And he shot 38% on 2.5 attempts. Now, we haven't seen him play in the NBA yet, which is going to be something else to watch out for. But I would rather have DaRon Holmes at the 4 and also have Devin Carter than have Payton Watson. And also we get a 2nd-round pick out of it, which, isn't going to hurt anybody as well. A lot of Nuggets fans do feel the same, seeing here, thinking about how Aaron Gordon on one hamstring was exponentially more useful than Payton Watson. And someone said because Payton Watson was called a Nugget star in some article, because people will put like star no matter who it is a lot of the time. So people were making fun of that. Obviously, Payton Watson is someone who you could easily sell off for Devin Carter and try to believe in Carter and just guess that the Sacramento Kings have just been a terrible organization, and terrible organizations are terrible at development. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The best way to tell how good an organization is see how well they develop their players. Look at the high-class organizations that we always think of when we call organizations high-class. The Miami Heat, best development in the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs, excellent development. For years, they'd be able to have players like Tiago Splitter and Jonathan Simmons who would show up, and they'd be excellent there. They'd move on to some other team on some fruitful contracts and not be able to keep up their level of play. That happened with both Splitter and Simmons. We've seen this exact thing happen before where players fit in. We've seen it with Miami. Gabe Vincent signs with the Lakers. Guy couldn't play at all there. And in Miami, we know well, Gabe Vincent was good. Not good enough, though. Guys, what do you think about this trade? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.